As we all grow accustomed to new technologies, innovative storylines, and astonishing CGI, we slowly start forgetting the good old days of imperfect cartoons that we held close to our hearts. It is not until someone brings them up that we remember those weekends when we eagerly waited for our turn for the remote and glued ourselves to the TV screens to watch our favorite shows. Before the kids were conspiring to get bitten by a radioactive spider, some of us were eagerly looking forward to being recruited into the EXO Squad. Today, we have brought you 15 sci-fi cartoons from the 90s to journey through that nostalgic time when we only had one digital screen in the house. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. EXO Squad, 1993 to 1995. Set in the early 22nd century, EXO Squad follows a group of humans called EXO Squad as they battle against Neo-Sapiens. In this fictional future, humans have expanded their habitat to Venus and Mars, colonizing these planets. The three planets, Earth, Venus, and Mars, are collectively known as the homeworlds. The space-based military known as EXO Fleet tackles the threat from the pirates, the group of exiled criminals who were sent to live in outer planets, where they survived by robbing the space raiders. To assist humans in the colonizing process, they created an artificial humanoid race known as Neo-Sapiens. These were supposed to be the slaves to the humans, engineered to be adaptable to the hostile space environment and physically stronger than humans with enhanced senses and dexterity. However, they grew frustrated with the inferior treatment and started to revolt 50 years before the first episode. This led to humans granting them provisional control of Mars, but they were still forbidden to build weapons. This revolt also led to the creation of exoframes, the exoskeletons humans used to terraform Venus and Mars. These E-frames were made for both civilians and militaries with their respective features and requirements. In the first episode, when EXO Fleet was busy dealing with the pirates, the Neo-Sapiens leader, Phaeton, used his rebellion group to establish the Neo-Sapien Commonwealth with the help of secretly constructed exoframes and ships. They invaded the solar system, seized control over the homeworlds, and waged a war against humans. An elite E-frame pilots unit called EXO Squad, led by J.T. Marsh, was now assigned on various missions to battle Neo-Sapiens. For a kid's cartoon, this show can be too heavy on the action, as it is filled with a realistic outlook on war, the death of several characters, themes like slavery, the psychological effects of war, etc. But still, there was no other sci-fi show like this at the time. The show draws to a close as the humans defeat Neo-Sapiens, but there is a hint for the third season. A war against an alien race looms, and it seems that the humans would have to ally with surviving Neo-Sapiens to win. This American series was created by Universal Cartoon Studios and was canceled after the second season, with only 52 episodes. Aon Flux, 1991 to 1995. This show is not for the kids, as it is one of the few adult sci-fi series from the 90s filled with action, sex, and twisted thought experiments. It is set in a dystopian future after an environmental catastrophe has wiped out 99% of the population. This world consists of barren wastelands, clones, mutants, surviving humans, and robots separated by the borders of two prominent cities, Monica and Bregna. It follows the self-directed secret agent from Monica named Aon Flux as she tries to stop her arch-nemesis and self-proclaimed leader of Bregna, Trevor Goodchild, in his totalitarian mission. Both of them have a love and hate relationship, quite literally, as sometimes they become enemies while at other times they are passionate lovers. The creator, Peter Chung, who also created the mega hit series Rugrats, was too bored with the limitations of the kids series and started exploring the adult one. He wanted to create characters that had long limbs and were more athletic with vast possibilities of action, unlike Rugrats. He deliberately made the main character visually provocative to get more viewers, as people deemed cartoons lame at the time. Chung believed that the challenge of the filmmaker is to achieve a kind of telepathy between the viewer and the character on screen. In fact, the early episodes of the series didn't have a single dialogue and were just a few minutes long, but people were still hooked. Unlike the expectations of the viewers, this show is filled not just with good-looking women, but it features various sci-fi technologies, weird aliens, and a gripping chase. The show also features the POVs of people on the other side. The fallen soldiers from the villain side have their own stories and grief, even of the cleaning crew that has to clean all the mess. The show features characters that are not all black or white, as they all have gray areas with human flaws and evilness, even the protagonist. While Aon is not entirely good, Trevor is also not entirely evil, and his actions do not seek power. Instead, he truly believes that his experiments are good for humanity. This show constantly questions us about who is right and who is wrong, as it showcases both sides and even the brutal killings done by our beloved hero. The fact that is easily ignored in other superhero films as collateral damage. Gargoyles, 1994 to 1997. Produced by Walt Disney Television Animation in 1994, Gargoyles follows a species of nocturnal creatures on their mission to protect humanity. These creatures are gargoyles, who are betrayed by one of their human friends in 994. Most of their clan was killed by humans in a petrified state, while the others were enchanted to be frozen for 1,000 years in their castle. They are cursed to stay in that state until the castle rises above the clouds. In 1994, 1,000 years later, a billionaire named David Xanatos purchased the castle to be reconstructed for his New York skyscraper. The castle is transported from Scotland to modern-day New York City. Hence, the Gargoyles are reawakened. Led by their leader, Goliath, and with the help of a police officer, Eliza Maza, they start understanding this new world and turn into the protectors of the city at night, as they tend to turn into stone during the day. Despite being a cartoon, the show has a relatively dark tone as it explores serious themes like morality, xenophobia, Shakespearean imagery, and racism. It lasted 3 seasons and had 78 episodes from February 1995 to February 1997. Beast Wars, Transformers, 1996 to 1999. 1984 marked the birth of Transformers by releasing robot toys that could transform into different transportation and communication machines. Along came the first Transformers series, an American-Japanese animation that depicted war among giant robots known as the Transformers. Beast Wars Transformers came in 1996. Set 300 years after the original Transformers, 1984, it was one of the earliest entirely CGI television shows. It features the war between the Maximals and Predacons, who are the descendants of Autobots and Decepticons from the original series. After the Great Upgrade, Autobots become Maximals, while Decepticons became Predacons. They were unhappily coexisting on Cybertron, but one day, the radical Predacons group leader, Megatron, stole a golden disc to hunt down a powerful crystal named Energon that fuels the Transformers. The Maximal exploration ship, the Axelon, led by Optimus Primal, was sent to stop them. This chase turned into a space battle, and the two ships dove through space and time, crashing on a mysterious planet later revealed as prehistoric Earth. This planet is very rich in energon, but in such an extreme amount that it becomes poisonous to the robots. Hence, they acquire the organic form of various animals to protect their robotic form until needed. The Maximals take the form of mammals, birds, and fishes, while the Predacons take the form of reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates. They continue their battle while trying to find their way back to Cybertron. The show ended in May 1999, starting a series of upcoming Transformers chronicles that are still prominent today. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century, TV series 1999 to 2001. Co-produced by DIC Entertainment, LP, and Scottish Television Enterprises, this series, as the name suggests, brings Sherlock Holmes to 22nd century London to solve futuristic crimes. The show starts in 2103 with Inspector Beth Lestrade, the descendant of Inspector Guy Lestrade, Sherlock Holmes' old colleague, as she chases a rogue French geneticist, Martin Fenwick. She soon discovers that Fenwick has created a clone of Sherlock Holmes' legendary villain, James Moriarty, through the cells taken from his corpse. In 1891, Sherlock Holmes came face to face with Moriarty in the Swiss Alps. During their struggle, the two ended up falling from a bridge. Moriarty died, but Holmes still survived the fall and grew up to be a gray old fellow who liked bees. Sherlock Holmes died years later and spent his final days as a beekeeper. Beth tracks down Sherlock Holmes' corpse in the basement of New Scotland Yard, which is preserved in a glass-walled and honey-filled coffin. She brings the body to Sir Evan Hargreaves, a biologist who has recently invented the process of cellular rejuvenation. He returns youth into Holmes' body and brings him back to life. Beth's android buddy reads the journals of Holmes' late friend, Dr. John H. Watson, and takes over his face, voice, and mannerisms to assist Beth and Holmes in this futuristic world. Inspired by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's literary works, the series is a blend of 2D and 3D CGI. It continues as the trio goes on various missions to solve crimes for private citizens and Chief Inspector Charles Grayson. Futurama, 1999 to present. Before shows like Rick and Morty existed, there was a lack of cartoons that blended science fiction with comedy and drama until Futurama was born in 1999. Set in the 31st century, Futurama is an American sitcom series created by Matt Groening with the help of David X. Cohen. The series follows the adventures of a slacker pizza delivery boy from the 20th century named Philip J. Fry, who has been cryogenically frozen for over 1,000 years. He is revived on December 31st, 2999, and starts a new life in the advanced world of the 31st century. The audience is able to connect with Fry as he is amazed at the futuristic world with flying cars and weird religions and tries to find his place in the fast-paced society. Fry gets a job at Planet Express, an interplanetary delivery company in New York, and works with two other main characters, a mutant named Leela and a robot named Bender. The show began broadcasting on Fox Network, 1999 to 2003, then went to Comedy Central, 2008 to 2013, and finally, it continues airing on Hulu, 2023 to present. Men in Black, the series, 1997 to 2001. This American series aired on Kids WB as a science fiction cartoon based on the 1997 film Men in Black, which was based on the comic books of the same name by Lowell Cunningham. It introduces the characters from the film as they fight against aliens in an alternate timeline. In this timeline, Agent K doesn't retire, Agent J is still a rookie and remains a sidekick of Agent K, while Agent L is a senior member of the organization. The longest-running plot of the series is Men in Black fighting the main antagonist, Alpha, a former mentor of Agent K. He gets captured but later escapes and turns himself into a cyborg. The show went from protecting Earth to keeping peace throughout the galaxy. It delves deep into a set of themes that the films couldn't reach, like war, oil crises, discrimination, and troubled relationships between friends, colleagues, parents, and children. Originally airing on Sunday mornings and then moving to weekdays, the series ran for 4 seasons, spanning from 1997 to 2001.
Come on! Over here!
The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, 1996 to 1997. Produced by Hanna-Barbera, The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest is a continuation of the 1964 Johnny Quest and the 1986 The New Adventures of Johnny Quest. The kids from the original series have grown into teenagers as they go on adventures with Dr. Benton. The action takes place in Questworld, a 3D cyberspace showcased with computer animation, combining CGI with conventional animation. Continuing the series, phenomenologist Dr. Benton Quest goes on adventures to exotic locations and investigates mysterious phenomena based on science, supernatural, and extraterrestrial occurrences. He is accompanied by his son, Johnny Quest, his adopted son, who has now become his assistant, Haji Sai, his bodyguard, Race Bannon, and Race Bannon's daughter, Jessie, along with their pet bulldog named Bandit. The series showcases the teenagers' much stronger physical and characteristic features as they grow to become more confident, straight-headed, and thoughtful. It aired on the Cartoon Network and lasted for 2 seasons, spanning 52 episodes from 1996 to 1997.
Game over.
It's unstable again.
Reboot, 1994 to 2001. Created by Gavin Blair, Ian Pearson, Phil Mitchell, and John Grace, Reboot is a Canadian animated television series famous for being one of the first completely computer-animated CGI series made for television. It is set in the inner world of a computer system known as Mainframe, which is largely inhabited by binomes. It follows the adventures of Bob, a guardian sent from the net, his companions, Dot Matrix, and her brother Enzo, in the world of Mainframe. They work to keep the system free from various threats, like viruses known as Hexadecimal and her brother Megabyte, which aim to dominate the city by infecting the entire net. Bob arrives in the Mainframe city as a protector and soon makes it his home. Another of their complications includes a mysterious user loading a game into the system, which manifests an electrical purple cube in the city. Whoever gets trapped in that cube becomes an NPC who is supposed to play with the user and win. If the user wins, the area gets destroyed, and the residents become leech-like creatures known as nulls. The show aired on the YTV network and ended in 2001 with 4 seasons and 48 episodes.
Already done. Thank you.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast, 1994 to 2008. This bizarre American animation is a parody of talk shows created by Mike Lazo. Contrasting the original 1960 series of Space Ghost, it features the protagonist, Space Ghost, as the host of the talk show along with his arch-nemeses as his co-workers. Space Ghost interviews various guest stars through the monitor before his desk, believing them to be his fellow superheroes. He is accompanied by the villains from the original series, Zorak, an evil talking mantis who is the band leader, and Moltar, a red helmet lava man who is the director-producer of the talk show. Both of them are punished for their crimes in the original series to work as unpaid workers for the show and often cause disruption in the interviews. In the beginning, the guests were previously interviewed and the clips of their answers were edited to match the absurd questions by Space Ghost in an attempt to make it funny. However, in later episodes, the guests were allowed to be interviewed directly. From showcasing the superhero tendencies, the Space Ghost turns into an egomaniac as he treats his guests poorly. It was broadcast on various networks, such as Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and GameTap. After surviving being canceled twice, it lasted 11 seasons and 109 episodes from 1994 to 2008. Extreme Dinosaurs, TV series 1997. It is an American animated series that is a spin-off of the 1994 series called Street Sharks. Towards the end of the final season of Street Sharks, a group of dinosaurs, known as Dinovengers, were introduced. These Dinovengers helped out the sharks in the finale. In 1994, they got their own cartoon series. Similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this show features mutant dinosaurs that become superheroes. Argor Zardock is an interdimensional criminal who has been trying to create an army to take over his Quadranian home planet. While on the run from Quadranian people, he arrived on Earth during the Mesozoic era when the dinosaurs were alive. Viewing the dinosaurs as weapons, he captures 4 of them: a Triceratops, a Tyrannosaurus, a Stegosaurus, and a Pteranodon, and puts them in mutating chambers to make them more evolved so they can help in his mission. He accidentally ends up creating 4 heroes: T-Bone, Spike, Stegs, and Bullseye. Argor gives these mutants too much free will, so they deny his offer to join him in killing people. Argor then captures some raptors and successfully mutates them into the show's villains, Bad Rap, Hax, and Spidor. A female Quadranian law officer, Chedra Bodzak, also arrives on Earth following Argor. The raptors attack Chedra using the Quadranian weapons, which become a travesty to Earth, as these weapons cause a disaster, forcing the extinction of the dinosaurs. Argor flees from Earth while Chedra stays behind to save the mutants, who she considers civilians. She puts the dinosaurs and raptors into a safe cryogenic chamber to sleep on Earth. 65 million years later, an archaeologist discovers the cryogenic ship and takes the dinosaurs to study, but they are soon freed. While the good ones start adjusting to the new world, they have to stop the bad ones as they start warming Earth's temperature for themselves and causing global warming, not caring that it will badly affect humans. The show has only 1 season, released in 1997, with 52 remarkable episodes.
I hope I live long enough to find out if I'm right about this!
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, TV series 1993 to 1994. Produced by D'Souza Productions with Galaxy Films and the distributor Nelvana, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs is an American animated show created by Stephen E. D'Souza, who also produced the video game of the same name. It is based on Mark Schultz's comic book, Xenozoic Tales. The plot centers around various ecological and political themes. It is set in 2513 in a post-apocalyptic forest near the ruins of New York City, also known as the City in the Sea. After the catastrophe, this world lost all 20th century technology and has tried to revive it again. The story follows the adventures of Jack Tenrek and his team of ecological liberation fighters named Mechanics. The Mechanics have managed to regain the old technology, which is not that advanced. Another important character is Hannah Dundee, a foreign ambassador from Wassoon and Jack's love interest. She hires Jack as a liaison, and they try to establish connection between Wassoon and the modern civilization that has gone wild. Many species of dinosaurs have reappeared after the catastrophe, and our 2 heroes face severe issues with the catastrophic environment humans live in. It aired on CBS on Saturday mornings and lasted for 1 season, with only 13 episodes from 1993 to 1994.
All for one and one for all! Let's move on out! Let's creepy crawl!
Creepy Crawlers, TV series 1994 to 1996. Creepy Crawlers follows the chronicles of Chris Carter, who describes himself as a normal kid and is very intrigued by magic. He works at a creepy magic shop with an old man named Professor Guggenheim, who used to be a magician but has now become a horrible salesman with anger issues. Chris invents a machine called the Magic Maker, inspired by other illusion machines in Guggenheim's shop. Guggenheim feels insecure that Chris is better than him and gets mad at him for spending time creating machines instead of selling stuff. Unbeknownst to Chris, the old man has been tracking planetary movements, awaiting a magic millennium moment that occurs once in 1,000 years with a specific planetary alignment. Several cosmic energies rain on the magic shop, making the Magic Maker create strange human-sized bugs that become mutant beings. It creates 3 creatures named Hocus Locust, Volt Jolt, and T3, who join forces with Chris. However, Guggenheim uses the Magic Maker to create the Crime Grime monster to help him conquer the world. The series goes on as Chris and his mutants try to stop Guggenheim in his mission and retrieve the Magic Maker. Various new mutants are created during the episodes, including a young girl named Sammy, who becomes Chris's best friend. Produced by Saban Entertainment, Creepy Crawlers aired in syndication for 2 seasons with over 23 episodes through 1996. A 24th episode that bridged the 2 seasons was produced but never aired. Tales from the Crypt Keeper, TV series 1993 to 1999. Based on the 1950s comic series Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Crypt Keeper was a milder version of the live-action TV series of the same name that aired on HBO. The show removed all the gore and sexual elements to target a much younger audience. It features Crypt Keeper, who tells kid-friendly horror stories with a moral lesson. In the 2nd season, the Crypt Keeper struggles with the Vault Keeper and the Old Witch, who are angry that they don't have a show like Crypt Keeper and try to steal it from him. Although the Crypt Keeper mainly narrates various horror stories, some of the episodes also feature sci-fi elements in the stories, like the episode called Waste Not, Haunt Not, where 2 boys dump their toxic waste produced from a science project into a bogland, which results in the creation of an oozy bog monster. Another episode called Unpopular Mechanics presents a reckless kid with a gift of mechanics who uses his inventions to play pranks on people. He invents a remote control that commands the machines to self-destruct, but gets his lesson when the machines plot together and start attacking him. Several other episodes like All the Gory Details and Caveman also include scientific plots, making the show rich in sci-fi horror. The series was made by Canadian studio Nelvana and produced through the ABC network in the US and the ITV network in the UK. It was canceled in 1994 before returning in 1999 as The New Tales from the Crypt Keeper. It changed networks to Teletoon Canada and CBS US. Last aired in 1999, the show had 3 seasons and a total of 39 episodes.
Hey, Norman! Catch!
Mighty Max, TV series 1993 to 1995. Yet another cartoon aimed at profiting the toy creation company, Mighty Max still stands alone in its gripping plotline and interesting characters. It is a mix of action, horror, and sci-fi that follows the adventures of a brave kid named Max. He receives a piece of mail that contains a statue and Egyptian hieroglyphics that states that Max has been chosen as the cap bearer. He receives a cap that enables him to travel through time and space using portals projected by the cap. The show continues as Max befriends 2 of his important companions, Virgil, a fowl-like humanoid over 10,000 years old who serves as a mentor to Max. He also mentored the main villain of the show, and Norman, a great warrior and Max's bodyguard appointed by Virgil. The trio goes on fun adventures as they teleport throughout space and Earth while trying to save the universe from the main antagonist, an ancient sorcerer named Skullmaster, and his minions. This show, based on the British Mighty Max toys, was developed by Mark Saslov and Robert Hudnut. It aired on Amazing Adventures US and Canal Plus France for 2 seasons with a total of 40 episodes and ended in 1995. Marvelous verdict. So, that was our list of the most remarkable 90s cartoons that are rich in sci-fi elements. No matter how old we are, these cartoons act as the melting points for our grown-up hearts. Let us know which one is your favorite or which one reminded you of those good old days. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe out there. Thanks, everyone.